If you was in a long-term relationship with a man, would you want him to take full control over the health and wellness in that relationship?
No.
No?
Why is he telling me what to do?
What if he knows a lot more about fitness and health?
He doesn't.
No?
I'm not listening to man. I'm so sorry.
Since we wasn't together and he wasn't staying there, I said that I would pay the rent. I didn't have access to the rent portal, so I was sending him my rent. That apartment, I think, was like $2,000 a month. I did not have access to the rent portal. Whenever I would ask for access, he didn't give it to me. So every month, I was sending him $2,000. Do y'all know that this man was never paying the rent out of the money that I was sending him?
I think it's almost ironic, but it's unironic actually, that the least qualified group of people are obsessed with control. They're obsessed with leadership. Men constantly talk about how women refuse to listen to them, and if they just listen to them, the women's lives will get exponentially better and all of this stuff. Now, when you look at society, let me make this make sense. When you look at society, the fact that men run society, but yet women's lives are not better, is proof that men indeed do not know how to lead women, right? Like that would be the proof. Like if any woman ever wanted to make the point about why they shouldn't listen to a man, you really don't have to look any further than society, the current conditions right now. Historically, if you go back, same thing, right? But yet and still men act like they are disconnected from that reality. Like that's something completely different. That society doesn't take care of women and doesn't prioritize women and or children, children, I should say. Men like to act like, yeah, that's just society. But me personally, right, or men, we do prioritize women. And I'm trying to understand how they're not able to understand those two things should reflect one another, right? So what I'm saying is if men actually have women's best interest at heart, then society should reflect that. The conditions in which women exist should reflect that. But since society doesn't reflect that and women's conditions don't reflect that, then it is safe to assume that men in general actually don't have women's best interest at heart, which is why women would be reluctant to follow men, right? And the men who deny this, the men who are unable to accept this truth, are extremely suspect. They are the ones to look out for the most. Any man that is trying to sell a woman on this idea that because he's a man, simply because he's a man, you should listen to him, is not a man to associate with. I'm saying that as a man, like I don't want to associate with men who think that because he's a man, he's better suited to lead than a woman, simply because she's a woman. Those are not men that I feel safe around, because that's stupid. That's dumb. Like, imagine if we got into like some, and I'm just going crazy with it, but imagine if we got into some like apocalyptic, or life or death kind of situation. Is he going to listen to the woman who may very well have the best plan of action for us to survive? Or is he going to go, pipe down, woman? And then other men, because we are conditioned to not listen to women, go, yeah, I'm not going to fight him on that. Anyways, hey, anybody else have a plan? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're in a group, we need to survive. We not listening to women. Like, get the fuck out. I'm listening to women, bro. Like, if I have to listen to one group versus the other, I'm listening to women. As a man, I'm 100% telling you, the likelihood that I'm going to survive is higher if I just listen to women. The likelihood that I'm going to survive goes up if I listen to both men and women. We're best together when it comes to these things. But if I have to choose between the two, I'm listening to women all day, because women have not proven to not care about the well-being of men and children.
I'm not listening to man. I'm so sorry.
If you was in a long-term relationship with a man, would you want him to take full control over the health and wellness in that relationship?
No.
No?
Why is he telling me what to do?
What if he knows a lot more about fitness and health?
He doesn't.
No?
I'm not listening to man. I'm so sorry.
Why not?
Because why is he not listening to me?
Let's just say if you was in a relationship with me and I wanted to get you in better fitness, would you listen to me?
How much money does your company make a year? Like, I think that's the question. Like, if I'm listening to you, like, the paycheck needs to match the advice you're giving me. So like a Fortune 500 company, okay, I'll listen because I'm getting paid to listen at that point.
Okay, so what if you had type 2 diabetes and I wanted to help you reverse that? Would you listen to me then?
Well, you can't reverse type 2 diabetes, unfortunately.
Why do you say that?
Well, you can ease the symptoms with lifestyle changes, but like you can't really get rid of it 100%. We don't even really know what causes diabetes,
So-
medically speaking.
Most of type 2 diabetes come from being overweight to obese and having an excess of
if you're
visceral
trying,
fat.
okay, yes, you're trying to get your woman in shape, but like, where are those standards coming from?
Those standards are coming from the man.
He knows absolutely nothing in real time, proving the point why would she listen to him? Because he doesn't know like like a renal diet. Like he doesn't know about that. He doesn't know like what foods make diabetes worse. He wouldn't know that. He wouldn't know. He would have no idea. Like you have to go to school to know that. You don't have to, but I'm saying like there are dietitians that go and get degrees in that, and he's just like, because I'm a man and because I work out, I know how to get you fit. What? There are tons of skinny people that have diabetes too. Diabetes actually makes you skinnier a lot of times. I knew a dude that was like, he was like 6'5", 260 at any given time. He freaking shriveled up to like 190. You know what I'm saying? Like from diabetes. So I don't know what you're talking about. That's not, diabetes is not just a fat disease or whatever the case may be. That's it can be caused by that or triggered by that, but that's not the end all be all. And he is proving in real time why you shouldn't listen to him specifically, but men in general, because men oftentimes overestimate our knowledge about any given topic or situation, and women underestimate theirs. Women are more likely to second guess themselves, right? And men are more likely to not take into account the lack of information or lack of knowledge that they have and make poor decisions. Like essentially, women are the type of people who would rather measure 10 times and cut once, and men are the type of people who would rather cut 10 times and measure once, essentially.
And having higher standards in health and wellness than you do. So if he's able,
hold on, I'm sorry. I forgot that he added that little goofy shit in at the end. So apparently he's trying to like clown the woman and saying like she's living single, and you know that's always their go-to. Is like she's a single woman, she's gonna be single forever because she refuses to be led by an inept man. Now the only I guess like gripe that I have with anything that she was saying was that she directly related it back to money, as if because he has money then he's fit to lead, which again, or not again, but that's problematic because I don't care if a man got money or not. Most of these men are stupid and don't know how to lead. Just put it out there. So no, I don't think that, money aside, that shouldn't really have much to do with it. But she was just like, it was like tongue in cheek. I didn't really take it that seriously, but she made her point clear. And that man actually exposed himself to be a person who doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about in real time. And that's why women shouldn't listen to men in general. He didn't have her well-being at heart. Him trying to get her in shape wasn't for her health. It was for him. He wants a woman that looks a certain way. He, you know what I mean? He's benefiting from that. It's not just about her health because you don't even need to work out. If you have diabetes, the number one thing you can do is fix your diet. Number one, first and foremost, fix your diet. Fuck working out, fitness, fuck out of here. Fix your diet. Go walk around the block. Drink water. Don't drink soda. Don't drink juice. Don't eat white bread. Don't eat rice. Cut back on the carbs. You know what I'm saying? High protein, high good fat diet, keto, right? Cool. You do that and walk around the block, you're good. You're good. She probably lose some weight and all that stuff, but she ain't gonna turn into a fitness model. He wants her to be into fitness because he wants an aesthetic. But instead of him saying that, he's masking it in this whole like idea of like, I'm just looking out for her well-being. Men don't give a fuck about a woman's well-being, generally speaking. If y'all cared about women's well-being, you would help them more. You would help them around the house. You would help them with their with the children that you guys bore. I mean, that she bore, that you guys had together. You would help her. You would help her by listening to her, by not cutting her off, by not over talking her, by not lying to her. If you cared about women's well-being, you would just treat them overall better, but you don't. That's how I know men don't care about women. And to me, this is like a perfect example of what leadership looks like under most men. This is what men want to do. When they talk about leading a woman, to me, this is what it looks like. Like, this is most likely going to have something like this, not this exact scenario, but the end result, which we'll get to in the end, this is most likely to happen, not success. Because most men aren't successful, right? Most men aren't successful. So why would a woman who they are more successful than, and I'm not just talking about monetarily, I'm just talking about in life. I'm saying objectively, women are better adjusted than men are, generally speaking. So why would a woman listen to a man? It doesn't make any sense. If she does, more than likely, this is going to be the outcome.
The worst thing your baby daddy did to you, but I don't want to hear cheating. No, I want to hear the most brutal shit somebody could ever do. So, okay, I'll go first. I first moved to Atlanta in 2021, and that's when I started college, or in-person college, because when I first started college, it was online. And he got the apartment in his name because I had already had an apartment in my name in Detroit. So the apartment was primarily in his name. Like, we used his credit, all that. This is when we thought we were still going to be together or whatever. Cool. During my pregnancy, we ended up splitting up, but when I got down here, I was pregnant. So I was still pregnant going to school. Now, if you know, 2021, 2022, around that time, that's the heightened time of COVID. So during this time frame, they had some type of like rental assistance that you can apply for. He was getting a rental assistance for people in Michigan, and it was one in Georgia too, but I guess the one in Georgia was slower. I'm not the type of person that want to wait on no rental assistance, especially if I really don't need it, because bitch, I know when I want to have a roof over my head. He was not living in Georgia. I was the only one living in Georgia. He was living in Michigan. We weren't together. We were broken up, but you're already legally bounded to the apartment, and I'm pregnant with your kid. So like, we talked about it. He said I could stay there, and even though I didn't apply for the apartment with my credit, my name was still on it as a resident. So like, he couldn't tell me I couldn't stay there because, you know, but since we wasn't together and he wasn't staying there, I said that I would pay the rent. I didn't have access to the rent portal, so I was sending him my rent. That apartment, I think, was like $2,000 a month. I did not have access to the rent portal. Whenever I would ask for access, he didn't give it to me. So every month I was sending him $2,000. Do y'all know that this man was never paying the rent out of the money that I was sending him? He was pocketing the money. He applied for Georgia rent assistance, and he was waiting to get the Georgia rent assistance to cover the balance of the rent that was owed. So he was just basically keeping the $2,000 every single month. One day I woke up, I was having a real weird morning, but
That good old male leadership. That good old male leadership right there.
Nevertheless, I woke up and I went out. And I was about to go to school. And at the apartment that I was living at the time, the maintenance people would drive around on these caddy cars or whatever. And so I went downstairs. Mind you, I never used to talk to nobody, nothing like that. But I went downstairs and it was a man driving past, and he said, "You better not leave. They gonna come looking for you." I said, "Who gonna come looking for me?" He said, "What apartment you in?" My apartment number was 8203. So I said 8203. He said, "Yeah, they coming for you today." I said, "Who?" He said, "The marshal." I said, "The marshal? What the fuck did I do?" He said, "They putting you out today. So you might want to go try to like to get a head start and get everything." Mind you, I had no friends in Atlanta. Well, I had one, but I didn't realize how close we was until after this happened. I didn't have nobody to help me. I gathered up a couple of things, but for the most part, all of my shit was in the parking lot, and I got evicted.
Okay, so he set the mother of his child up to be evicted so that he could steal her money. I mean, in his mind, it don't. I mean, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he was like let's say that he got the money back from the state or whatever the case may be. Even it's still janky though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even, you know what I mean? Like, even if he paid everything, or I'm saying not using her money, but even if he made right on it because it's that, why would you make a woman pay for rent if you was gonna get reimbursed with the money no matter what? Why wouldn't you pay it? Or why wouldn't you give her the money back? Why you know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't you use her money to pay the rent, and then if you get the money, give her the money or split it with her at least? Like, what the fuck? You wasn't even living, you wasn't even paying the rent. How was male leadership? Male leadership. That's male leadership for you right there. Men do not have women's best interest at heart. That is why women don't trust men to lead. Society reflects it, and interpersonal relationships reflect it. That's just the reality. If you want women to follow your lead, you would stop asking them and you would just start leading. You would just be a better person. You don't need to convince a woman to let you lead. You need to just be a fucking leader. But here's the crazy part about all of this. The real leaders don't ask people to let them lead. The real leaders are not obsessed with leadership. I've never met an effective leader actually be obsessed with leadership. Effective leaders are not obsessed with leadership. They don't mind leading, a lot of them. A lot of them don't mind leading, but a lot of leaders, a lot of effective leaders, most of them do not give a fuck about leading. They don't care. They're not like, I gotta be the leader. Da, 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 da. What they do is they sit around, right? And if there's a lot of people around, they'll see, because maybe there's somebody else that's a better leader than them. Maybe we don't need a leader. Maybe we're going to work it out amongst the group. It's going to be egalitarian, right? I don't know. They don't know, but because they are interested in the well-being of the group or even of the other person, they're not quick to be like, I know I got it. And since the best leaders are women, and I already talked about how women underestimate their abilities, a lot of women don't even think that they're capable of leading a lot of times. A lot of women who are great leaders don't even think that they're great leaders. They're like, whatever. They're always second guessing it. Maybe. I'm not taking credit for that. I mean, that was a team effort. Whatever the case may be, like, women are the ones who are doing that. Men are like, nah, I did that. And he had nothing to do with it. He'll take credit for some shit he had nothing to do with. Women will do the whole fucking thing and then give everybody else credit. You see what I'm saying? That creates a terrible dynamic between men and women, where women become inherently distrusting of men, as they should, and men become obsessed with power. Well, I'm sorry, they always were obsessed with power, but that leads women to be distrusting of men. So now it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Men are obsessed with power. Women aren't stupid, and they are like, well, why are you so obsessed with power? Because if you really were powerful, you wouldn't be obsessed with power. You would just flex your power. You would just be powerful, right? In your own right. But since you are trying to convince me you're all powerful, that's a red flag. And the men go, no. I'm a man. I got it. I got a penis. I know better than you. Why don't you want to listen to me? I can get you into shape. I'll pay your rent. Don't worry, I'll pay the rent. Just give me your money. I'll pay the rent. Hardly ever works out for the woman, though.